Hello, Capricorn. This is Adrian Igo, Capricorntigress, with Astrology A Look Inside, coming to you with your reading for September of 2018. And this September is going to be a beautiful month, I think, for Capricorns. It starts out with well, there is a pre-retrograde shadow, by the way, in the sign of, well, it's going to be for Venus, a pre-retrograde shadow for Venus, and that is on the 2nd of September. And, you know, the thing about that is that Venus is going to be retrograding soon. It'll actually retrograde in October, on the 5th of October. I just thought for a second, like, when is it retrograde? But the reason I thought about it is because Venus does go into the sign of Scorpio, and it does that on the 9th. And so I was thinking about that. But that Venus in that pre-retrograde shadow happens on the 2nd, and that begins at 11:20 p.m. on the 2nd of September. And then, you know, Venus enters Scorpio on the 9th at 5:25 a.m. and then it actually goes retrograde on the 5th of October, and it'll retrograde at 10 degrees of Scorpio on the 5th of October. But I've been talking a lot about this because, you know, some people, what happens when Venus is in that pre-retrograde shadow is a lot of times people get in a relationship during that pre-shadow. And you know, since it's kind of a retrograde thing, what happens is a lot of times I'll get in a relationship and then it just tanks after the retrograde and in October, after October. So I'm saying, like, if you're in or looking at the possibility of being in a relationship or a new relationship, I would wait until after the retrograde period is over, because it could just be a rebound. I did a video for Tauruses about that, rebounds and repeats. And so since that's happening with them and they are in your solar 5th house, you know, it could be that some type of rebound or repeat could be occurring. Be aware of that, because, you know, we're in that shadow right now. Anything is possible. But for most of the month of September, the emphasis is going to be in your solar 9th house in the sign of Virgo. And that's because this is the time of Virgo, and Virgo, the sun is in Virgo, Mercury is in Virgo. We start the month out that way. Mercury enters Virgo on the 5th of September. And it's a very short Mercury, by the way, because Mercury enters Virgo on the 5th of September after being retrograde, you know, for a while. And then it goes into Libra on the 21st. So, you know, when Mercury goes into Libra on the 21st, the sun will go into Libra the next day on the 22nd. So, you know, enjoy that Virgo time in the 9th house. I'm thinking when the sun and Mercury are in the 9th house, this would be a great time to learn things or teach things. I could see there being like things that deal with law and politics or philosophy or religion or your in-laws, all of those things. But really, I could see that affecting, you know, like travel and things like that. So be aware of that there's an emphasis on your 9th house of like higher education, higher learning, higher consciousness, like just a higher learning. And with that sun up there in that solar 9th house like that, it's really kind of like your most elevated planet right now. It's really high up in the sky. And then on the 22nd, the sun's going to move into your 10th house, into the 10th house, the Capricorn house, where your Libra 10th house, solar 10th house. The sun will be there, Mercury will be there, Venus is there until it goes into Scorpio on the 9th of September. And then Venus will go into your solar 11th house of hopes, dreams, and wishes. And speaking of your 11th house of hopes and dreams and wishes, you have Jupiter in that area. And Jupiter is a very beneficial planet. It tells me that your luck comes from groups and organizations and associations that you might belong to. It could be groups like that you have even on Facebook, or it could be like groups that you belong to, like organizations like the Rotary Club, or if you're in a church organization or something like that. And I could see you really benefiting from your friends, like from these friendships or acquaintances like this, because Jupiter is in the 11th house of hopes, dreams, and wishes, and friends, and now Venus is there. Two very beneficial planets in that 11th house. So please take advantage of that. And that Libra, that's going to be up there in your 10th house. You'll have Mercury up there as well. And that's really going to make it'll become very apparent, because on the 24th of September, there's going to be a full moon in Aries, which is down in your solar 4th. And so, there's going to be emphasis down in the lower half of your chart, but that's going to also shine a light up there on the 10th. So the full moon will be opposing your career house. And I wonder what that means. Like, how is that going to really affect you? Because, the full moon always tells me that there's some form of emotion, some higher level of emotionality happening. And in your case, that's the 4th house opposing your 10th house, where all that Libra emphasis is. So, I hope you don't, feel like you're home and you might miss something. I hope you don't miss something important at your work or job that could help promote you or push you forward. Now, Pisces is in your 3rd house, your solar 3rd house. You have Neptune there in your solar 3rd house, and that just makes me think that there's some form of communication issues or blockages, especially when you've got, Virgo opposing the 3rd house all month. So you could have some real confusing communication or confusing messages, or maybe you're communicating about spirituality or communicating about otherworldly or metaphysical things. I could see that occurring as well. Mars, which has been in Capricorn, is actually stationing direct on the 6th of September, and that's going to enter Aquarius on the 10th of September. And that means it's going to be moving from your solar 1st house into your solar 2nd house. And when Mars is in the 2nd house, I'm thinking that's an increase of money, hopefully. Hopefully what'll happen there is that you'll feel some extra fire and desire to, get that money going in the solar 2nd house of Aquarius. And so, there is going to be some support to you, I think, this month, because on the 12th of September, Jupiter is sextile Pluto. And Jupiter is in Scorpio, which is, like I said, your solar 11th house, and Pluto is in Capricorn in your solar 1st house. So you should get a boost from friends or groups or associations that you belong to. Hopefully you'll get something positive will come out of that. On the 20th, Saturn quintiles Neptune, and so Saturn's at 2 degrees of Capricorn, and it's going to quintile Pisces in Neptune, which is retrograde, at 14 degrees and 43 seconds. And that Pisces Neptune is down in the 3rd house, and that's your 1st house and your 3rd house again. So again, more emphasis on that 1st house and 3rd house. Maybe you're going to be communicating something that is positive and creative in some way. I would even think this might be a good day to hold a course or a webinar or something like that. On the 21st, Mercury enters Libra, which I discussed earlier, and the Sun enters Libra on the 22nd. On the 24th, which we also discussed, there's a full moon in Aries. And on the 25th, there's going to be, and by the way, that full moon is going to be in your 4th house. That's your home. That's your family. You know, that's your home life. So I don't know exactly how that full moon is going to take effect on your home life, but I do know that, you know, that full moon is going to be at 2 degrees of Aries, and you know, we've got Saturn at 2 degrees of Capricorn, so that's a square. And that is going to, the full moon in your 4th house is going to be squaring your 1st house, which is your personality. Now, how this is going to take effect, I don't know. I just know it's something you should be aware of. That's the 24th of September. Please make a note of it. On the 25th, Chiron is going to retrograde. Well, it is retrograde and it enters Pisces. And that's more emphasis on that solar 3rd house. Again, that's communication. A lot of emphasis there on your communication. And then on the 30th, Pluto, which is in our solar 1st house, goes direct in Capricorn. And that's going to be at 18 degrees 45 seconds of Capricorn in our solar 1st house. And that is trine that's Scorpio. Yeah, Scorpio, Jupiter in Scorpio. And that Jupiter in Scorpio, as I mentioned, is in the 11th house of, you know, hopes and dreams and wishes and friends. But that is a beautiful sextile. And I wonder how we're going to take advantage of that sextile. You know, that Jupiter and Pluto sextile. It's exact, by the way, on the 12th. On the 12th, but Pluto doesn't go direct until the 30th, and it goes direct at 18 degrees and 45 seconds, which makes me think that, you know, we'll probably experience that again. So that's actually very good and positive. That's very good. Also, I just want to mention that retrograde Venus retrogrades in Scorpio on the 5th of October. And it will be at 10 degrees of Scorpio. And that is more emphasis on the 11th house. Isn't that something? So we're going to have a lot of emphasis on the 11th house. You know, eventually at the end of the month, we're going to start out with the emphasis on the 9th house. So, you know, I always hold this up like you can see it. I can barely see it myself. But, you know, we have emphasis on the 9th house. We'll start out the month with a lot of Virgo going on. The Sun, the Mercury, there's that new moon on the 9th in Virgo. And then, you know, on the 21st, 22nd, you know, the Sun and Mercury go into Libra. And on the 24th, there's that full moon in Aries down in the 4th house, which is opposing our 10th house. So be aware of that. Take advantage of that new moon in Virgo. That new moon in Virgo is going to be very good because that is trine our Capricorn sun. And so it's a very positive experience for us Capricorns if we take advantage of it. Again, that's the 9th house to our 1st house. So that should, you know, indicate something to do with maybe religion, or it could have to do with our in-laws, or it could have to do with, you know, any kind of spirituality or anything like that. So I would, and education is definitely indicated here. Take advantage of that. You know, it's a smart time when Mercury and the Sun are in Virgo. And the new moon. This is our time. Let's take advantage of this, Capricorns. We can do this. Okay. Well, Pluto goes direct on the 30th, and we Capricorns have to take advantage of that. That means we're going to be our power. We're going to start feeling our power after the 30th of September. Okay, Capricorns, well, this is all I have for you for the month of September of 2018. This is Capricorntigress, Adrienne Igo, with Astrology, a look inside. I invite all you Caps to come and join me at astrologyalookinside.com. And I wish you all much love, much light, much joy, many blessings to all my fellow Capricorns. I'm sending out all my love and white light to you all in the month of September. Mwah! Much love to you. Bye now.